then try again.
Hey, what's up everyone? Louis Tran here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro. Now, I've had this as my main device for about a month following the 2016 Surface Book with performance base. Now, it's going to be a pretty tough act to follow because I was really impressed with the Microsoft Surface Book Pro, and switching into the MacBook Pro 15-inch with a touch bar, my expectations are of course going to be pretty high of it. Now, this is the first MacBook that Apple has redesigned since 2012, and when they first announced this in October, there's been quite a bit of controversy in eliminating all of the regular USB-A ports, replacing them with all USB-C Thunderbolt ports, Thunderbolt 3 ports, and also a lot of photographers and professionals weren't happy that they also got rid of the SD card reader. Now, I've used this as my main device for a month, and I'm going to give you my 1 month impressions of how this has worked for me within those 30 days or 30 to 45 days since I've had it. So let's get right into the video. Before we begin, let's of course unbox this. So you have the nice fancy box over here with a hint of the rainbow touch bar. Now, opening this right now. So here it is in all of its glory. Right away, right out of the box, you could already feel that, like all Apple devices, they are solidly built, really well built. This is a really well built laptop. And over here we have of course, the stickers and little documentation that nobody reads. And here's the power brick, USB-C power brick, and of course here's the USB-C cable. All right. And here's everything thrown right into the floor. Just so you guys know, this thing doesn't come cheap. Now, the configuration that I got was the 2.7 gigahertz quad-core Intel i7 processor, the Skylake one, with 1 terabyte hard drive SSD, and I also upgraded the video card to the Radeon Pro 460 with 4 gigs video memory. Yeah, it came out to $3,299. Yikes. Like I said, this is a really well-built device. I mean, for something that expensive, it sure as hell better be. Space gray looks fantastic, just like the 12-inch MacBook, but I think bigger looks better. I really appreciate the aluminum build, and I was quite surprised how light this is considering all the hardware that this comes with, as well as being a 15-inch notebook. In terms of ports, it's quite simple. You get 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports on the left side, and on the right side you have 2 more ports, as well as a standard 3.5 audio jack. With all jokes aside about dongle life, wait, hold on. Let's take a look at how ugly my setup is. Oh my god, that's terrible. The Thunderbolt 3 adapters are extremely versatile. With the right adapter, you can pretty much use any legacy USB-A device. These adapters from Aki cost about $7 for 2, and they work pretty great. Seriously, complaints and jokes about dongle life in my opinion are overly exaggerated. More of a minor inconvenience at most. You can even charge your MacBook Pro from any USB charger and battery pack in an emergency. Aside from legacy devices, let's talk about the future. External devices such as hard drives, GPUs, etc. are all going to be heading into this direction. It is painful how Apple is transitioning to this connection at first, but in a year or two, what we consider standard USB ports won't be standard anymore. However, I really wish they kept the SD card slot. That came in pretty handy. The 2560 by 1800 15-inch Retina display looks great and really bright. Apple upped the brightness by 67% from the previous generation, but other than that, it's pretty much the same display. No 4K here, but I have no complaints with this MacBook Pro's screen. The speakers are nothing less than amazing for built-in laptop speakers. They are loud and clear, and they can be well heard in the conference room. I am glad that Apple is continuing this trend of having high-quality speakers on their newer laptops. Here's a sample of what the speakers sound like.
Cloud Strife, and he says it's former soldier. Look, heavy security like this, you want a professional.
One of the big new features that Apple announced on this year's MacBook Pro was the Touch Bar. It's been rumored for quite some time, so it was real no surprise. What it is an OLED touch screen bar that replaces the traditional function keys, and it dynamically changes depending on the applications that you're using. Plus, all the function keys are still there, you just have to press the FN key. So far, only Apple and a few third-party developers have utilized the touch bar. For instance, in Safari I can switch in between bookmarks, open a new tab, etc. But in other applications that don't support this, there really isn't anything special. Sure, you can scrub through YouTube videos or adjust the volume, but there's really nothing too groundbreaking since this is still in its infancy. Now for the fingerprint sensor. This thing is pretty impressive. You can make purchases with Apple Pay if you're using Safari, and if you have a password manager like OnePass, you can log into websites just as easily as you can unlock your phone. At this point, I've used the touchscreen on my Surface Book much more than I've used the touch bar on this MacBook Pro. We're going to just have to wait to see what's in store in the future for this technology to develop. The MacBook Pro uses the butterfly style keyboard, an update to the one found in the 12-inch MacBook. Now, I'm one of the few people in the world that actually likes this keyboard, so I'm really digging the one on the MacBook Pro. Those of you who hate the one in the MacBook will hate this one a little less because it's a little better. If you love the one in the 12-inch, then you're going to love this one even more. It's quick, responsive, and accurate. My only complaint, coming from the super quiet keyboard of the Surface Book, is that the one on the MacBook Pro is loud. You will disturb people in a quiet room, and you're going to disturb your sleeping neighbor on a flight. The giant trackpad is just ridiculously large. It's about the size of the iPhone 7 Plus. Not sure what the point of this was, and I've had a handful of frustrating issues with palm rejection when this first came out. Fortunately, the new update corrected the issues I had with palm rejection and erratic right-clicking, and now it works great. This is still one of the better trackpads you can find on a laptop, but I would have preferred if Apple retained the size of the previous generations. Before we talk about performance, I just want to point out that this Mac has one of the worst out-of-box experiences ever. Like the original Surface Book, there was a handful of issues that I ran into when I first started using this. Aside from the trackpad, as I mentioned earlier, the screen would constantly flicker when connected to an external display. I would also get artifacting constantly. The touch bar would also do some weird random shit, and it was a bit frustrating considering that the premium price I paid for this thing. However, after the 10.12.2 update, most of my issues have been fixed. Had it not been for that update, this would have been a really short review. However, it's still not perfect, but it's at least manageable, and the issues are minor. My day consists of photo editing with Aperture, 4K video editing with Final Cut Pro, surfing the web with Chrome, Microsoft Office, mainly Outlook, Excel, and Word, and I usually have Parallels running when I'm at the office because there are specific Windows apps that I need for work. They all run fine without a hiccup, but of course you don't need a $3,300 laptop to do all that. Fan has never come on during normal day-to-day work, so it pretty much runs quiet. When it comes to gaming, it runs Mac games such as Tomb Raider and Diablo at a decent frame rate at mid settings. Of course, these games are a few years old, so don't be too impressed. I haven't had the chance to play games under boot camp yet, but I can do a separate video on that in the future. I'm also really interested to see how well the Razer Core will work on this too. As far as battery life goes, doing day-to-day tasks as described above, it won't last half a day. Battery life I've been getting in just doing normal work was about 5 to 5.5 hours tops. So be sure to carry a battery pack with you when you won't be near an outlet. Unfortunately, you can use any USB charging block if you have a USB-C to USB-A cable. Okay, so the question is, would I recommend the 2016 MacBook Pro with the touch bar? Well, if you could look past the high price tag and the mediocre battery life, I think overall it's a pretty good device. I mean, it's got good overall performance, the screen is beautiful, speakers sound great, the USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports, it's definitely going to be the future of connectivity anyway. All laptops are going to be heading towards that direction. So, if you got the money, I'd say go for it. But, if you are more budget conscious, I would say wait for the Skylake refresh, especially if you already have something starting from a 2013 MacBook Pro and later than that, then yeah, definitely wait. So there's some things to think about. I enjoy using it after the 10.12.2 update, especially most of the bugs have been fixed. Most of the issues that annoy me have been fixed. I mean, it's still not perfect. I mean, this isn't a first gen device, so you know, just some things to think about. But you know, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.